Hear it. Okay, guys. Hey, everybody. We're all just checking out this new Quake re-release. So far, I've played a little bit of it, and it's pretty impressive. It's really well done in terms of like increasing the graphical fidelity. Like, there's a lot of different ways that you can run Quake, and I was actually in the middle of making a video talking about how many different ways, like FTE Quake, Quake Spasm Spiked. But this Quake re-release on the Kex engine is very impressive. I mean, this is one of my favorite parts right here. I think if you hit Q, yeah, it brings up the weapon wheel, which is hilarious. This is really weird. It's the most different thing so far that I've seen about the programming of it, though there are a lot of different tips, or there's a lot of different tricks that they pulled off. I opened up the new, and I uploaded it recently, the new Dimensions of the Machine episode that they just released today. And I took a peek inside of it in Quake Spasm Spiked, and the crazy thing is it worked. It worked just fine. Apparently, this nightmare is like actually like freaking tough. Like, they changed the health statistic of it, so you got like half, like damage is like twice from what I understand. Anyway, we're just gonna hop into it. I'm probably gonna get my ass kicked because, again, this is apparently a much harder nightmare, if it's to be believed. My aim's also going to be really bad. The controller support is really good. I'm playing with keyboard and mouse just because, but I really kind of like turning my head off or turning my brain off and just like listening or just playing around. Unfortunately, when I stream, I can't play the music. That's why you're hearing royalty-free metal music. I get like copyright stricken like every single time, and I have to mute the entire video just because it plays a little bit of a Nine Inch Nails song, the title of which I don't think I can even say on YouTube. That was the crazy thing when I uploaded that other video. I was like, oh, it actually tells me what like Nine Inch Nails song, and like the title, I just can't say it. It's just, you know, not gonna go. But outside of that, I mean, like, it's perfectly fine. I mean, the crazy thing is, it's such a good soundtrack. Like, Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails, everybody did such a really phenomenal job on this game. Let me see if I have it. Oh, damn it! I put it upstairs. I have my copy of Masters of Doom, and I can read some parts of that about Quake. But we might take like a deep dive. Like, we might play a lot of this. I have a lot of Quake-related content just sort of ready, and we can like look at, you know, the inside files and see like what's exactly up with this new re-release. Because some things operate a little bit differently. The way that they do trigger messages, like trigger message like this, you found a secret, is a little bit different in these re-releases. And when I opened it up in Quake Spasm Spiked, instead of just being a string, it seems like that there's a little bit of interpolation going on, where it was like $MG equals a bunch of different stuff. Quake achievements, finally I can show off to my friends that I played this game from 1996. I think I'm actually like 4 months older than Quake. They did a really good job with the nail gun, because the problem is the nail gun gets like so muddied sometimes. Like, depending on like the source port or like whatever you're working with, it can just get really muddied. And it's kind of cool to see like that animation work so smoothly. Nothing back here. Already got the quad. Doing an okay job so far. I mean, I know that there's people speedrun this level, but I'm actually just trying to make sure it's like all mostly the same. I haven't really played that much past the first room, to be honest. But played quite a bit of Quake. I mean, that's why I'm just like wasting so much bullets right now and going very, very slow and, you know, completely messing up that part. I swear I'm good at this game at other points in time. I might actually be better at this game with a controller, which is kind of sad. It's just I have a little tablet that I put Quake and Quake 2 on, and Return to Castle Wolfenstein I just got working today, which I'm super psyched about. That's with the like the Android port with like Belloc Games, I think, or Beloka Games. That has nothing to do with this. I'm getting some weird slowdown. I can't tell if that's just my disc or something else. It might just be because I'm streaming. I do say that the movement is a little bit different. Like, the reason why I'm not platforming so well is this does not feel the same. Also, from what I understand, like, the backwards speed, so if you're, like, doing, like, some sort of crazy backwards bunny jump, it does not accelerate in the same way that it used to. So, just be warned. Oh. How the hell? I always forget the one. Yep. Got them all. Okay. Let's get out of here. Longer than it should have been, but that's fine. So he'll move forward. And then move up the stairs. Then it technically becomes an easier fight. But we don't need to worry about that. Most people just immediately start the game. Oh. One of the main problems that I have, this water is weird. So check this out. That is weird for Quake water. It's blue. I guess this is because it's trying to show that it's the water that doesn't hurt you. Because that's the one problem I have with one of my main problems with OG Quake is it's just really hard to tell what water will and will not hurt you. So I guess they added this blue filter to be like, oh, it's peaceful water, it's good water. Because otherwise it's like usually just dark gray, but it's almost unmistakable from like whatever targets underscore sludge that little element is. Because that's what it's usually set up as. That wasn't so bad. Honestly, I don't feel like this is as... Oh, I got stuck there. I've had some graphical issues, but it usually happened when I was modifying graphical files. Alright, so let me just see one thing. I have a little alert. Okay. That's fine. Sorry, I was just checking it. It was just dropped frames. Okay, we're back, I think. Okay. Hopefully stream quality isn't too bad. If it's bad, I'll just redo this video tomorrow. But I do quite think that it's a good port so far. In terms of like Quake ports, because we can compare this like directly if we really need to. But there's more graphically impressive versions of Quake, but that's not necessarily like the goal, because this has really awesome additional features, and also it has Bethsoft.net, but it has really cool additional features for crossplay, which is actually pretty exciting. Like, reading that part, I do want to check out the crossplay, and I do want to check out the multiplayer, because honestly, that's kind of what boomer shooters are missing right now, is like there's just not a whole lot of adoption of the Quake equivalent multiplayer. Now, those Quake servers are still out there. Like, I was playing Quake 2 with FTE Quake, and it ran fine, and there are plenty of people playing. So some of the funniest usernames I've ever seen that cannot be repeated ever. But it's funny. Oh, God. Clutch. Yep. All right. This is in the trailer for the new one. They just show off the knights coming through. It's actually pretty graphically impressive. Like, there's a lot of issues with getting that to display right. Like I playing the VR version of Quake, like this room won't really like you won't be able to see the knights sometimes. It's kind of weird. I think that might have to do with like some additional shading that whatever kind of like Delta Touch port Dr. Beef was working in when he made like the VR fork. But I don't know. It's a great. I mean, Dr. Beef is like incredible. The Return to Castle Wolfenstein VR game is like actually my favorite VR game. I think it's definitely like one of the most interesting ones and the one that's most immersive for me because I can actually like put a gun stock up and it really does kind of like having something like an MP40 in your hands like is a little bit easier to do, and I can like put my level of disbelief into that more easily than I can some of those other crazy guns. And it really ends up working pretty well. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, they just send everything at you. This is not as difficult as it could be. So it's so far just, you know, the first couple levels. Still on the Romero levels, I think. I forgot who did E1M2 though. Might not have been Romero. I don't think it was American McGee. Definitely wasn't Sandy Peterson. It's not a Sandy level. I like Sandy's levels. I love Sandy Peterson. I would love to meet Sandy Peterson. That's kind of cool. So now there's a UI element down there at the bottom that lets you like continue. I guess as opposed to just nothing. Nice. Nice enough. Yep. Ah. Gibbs, nice and good. Whoa. Gravity is a little weird. But I think that's just because dealing with those source ports, they just probably use a different like way of manipulating that. I mean, we can try and take a look at it here. From what I understand, whatever port that we're running on, id / Machine Games / whoever like handled this release, this is an August, so it's almost a month old. No. I think it said July. I think it said June 18th build. But we'll take a look at it in a second because it's just right there. Quake version date August. Yeah, so that's actually today's date. So release date. But things are subject to change on this, from what I understand. I mean, this is brand new. I cannot wait for some of the extra support that's going to come out. So this is another bit of coding that is changed, and it actually causes Quake Spasm to crash. I don't think that Quake Spasm has the hookups for this UI element, because every time I die playing one of these new levels in Quake Spasm, it crashes to the console, and I think it's because it just doesn't understand that hookup. That's pretty interesting, though. There's this extra UI interface now that's above everything. I mean, I think that was present in like other, is it Kex or like Flex? We can take a look at it. Options, credits, right? Night Dive, of course. Yes, it's the Kex. Yeah, I don't know the full history of Kex, but it's pretty powerful. I've seen it attached to like another one of these big re-releases that Night Dive has been a part of, you know, for id, for Bethesda. Seems pretty interesting. I don't know. We'll take a look at some of the other stuff. I mean, I'm really just super happy that I can just like now easily can hook up a controller and just immediately have the right kind of control for Quake, and it feels fine. That's just because my like wrists are old, and I just don't feel like always having to do a little bit of Purple tunnel. I will say that the horizontal, yeah, like it just not super fast. I think it's supposed to be trying to make it feel like the old way. This is usually where I start having problems. Definitely go with mouse control if you want like precise aiming. I haven't done it. I haven't done it on. This is strange. I don't know what's happening. Might have been doing too many things at once. So I have saved my game. Now I will load my game, which is at nothing. It's an interesting bug. Ah, here we go. We're back. Let's try multiplayer. Right. Well, something didn't like that. So we're just going to play a little bit of Brutal Doom real fast. Hey, everybody. I think I fixed the problem. Yeah. But let's check out multiplayer. I hope I didn't like dox myself. Oh. Well, we might not have been recording the sound earlier. Sorry about that. Might have just been the middle. Oh, there we go. Well, should be better now. Alright. Let's try it. I don't have the best internet. Okay, here we go. Nice. Dumbass. Oh wow, these frag scores are hilarious. Well, I did just dox my name. But everybody kind of knew that. Oh no, he's the only one who's been playing the game. He's changed his skin. That is pretty cool though. That definitely reminds me of like FTE Quake. Now let's see if they have other models than Ranger. That'd be kind of cool. Because we got Classic Ranger, of course. We need him. Oh. Because it would actually be kind of... Oh. I don't know what I could have done about that one. But it'd be kind of cool. I really do wish that they made a Ranger skin for Doom Guy for QuakeCon. Oh. Gotta be ready with that rocket launcher right at people's feet. Pretty nice. Yeah, these are new maps from what I understand. I've seen that like platform map map before. I haven't played that much Quake multiplayer, so the problem is like I don't know the full history of like these maps. So maybe these are remixes of like other popular maps or maps that have existed before. But I don't have a lot of context for that. I have a context for like the single player maps, and I understand those. Like, oh, okay, yeah, this is E1M1 from Quake. Like when people remix it and redo it in like Brutal Doom, or they make a you know, a Doom and Quake like version of everything. It's just something you kind of like pick up on. You're like, oh yeah, this is like the room. This is the corner from D-Dust. This is the bridge in 2-4. You know, that kind of concept. Anyway. Whoop. That part's kind of fun. The more you can do, like, the cool thing about Quake is, and I've said this on stream before, but like, Quake is like just the, like, if you like Doom Eternal, you don't really like Doom. Again, hot take, controversial take. If you like Doom Eternal, you don't really like Doom, because Doom Eternal plays like Quake. It really does. Like, the power-ups. Yes, there's I'm on a roll right now. Fuck, 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 fuck. Yeah! Bitch. Oh, fuck, yeah. I don't really like cursing that much. I'm so sorry. It's just when I get on a roll, this is nice. I'm dominating. They're fucking avoiding my corner. They straight up learned to avoid my corner. They stopped going there for like a full 2 minutes. Oh my god. No! How? How? I'm sorry. I don't mean to like bully you guys. Like, jeez. Well, that's one way to lose. It's like I can't have rockets anymore. Like they don't want me to have rockets. So even if I run over the rocket, I don't get to pick it up. Like I've used up all of my chances to have a rocket, I guess. Okay. I'm not familiar with that, but that's cool. I mean, it's one way to kill my streak, but cool. Fudge! damn. So it looks like we got 2 connections through Steam. This guy's just somehow pulled ahead of everyone as well. I mean, that's because I'm not really focusing on winning as much as I am like, why can't I pick up ammo sometimes? Like, not gonna lie, it kind of killed the vibe. I'm gonna start talking like I'm like 16. Kind of killed the vibe. I haven't said anything too problematic on the stream. Fudge. Well, I just can't really touch that one, can I? Oh, fudge. Just let it go. Get your rocket launcher. And now I can't pick up the rocket launcher. So you pick it up once, you use all the ammo, and then you just can't pick it up again, even if you die, it seems. Because I couldn't pick up... Okay, here they are again. Now... I guess I was just assuming that they would auto-switch once they got more ammo. That's on me. In fact, I might not be the only person making that mistake, because I definitely think anyone on the Nintendo Switch, I think everyone playing on the Nintendo Switch would be like, why didn't it automatically switch over to the thing? That's what I would just think of from a UI design element. Like, it's fine. And this is why I'm so behind. So I'm sitting to think about game design. Nah, I just like really like, this is so crazy. I was just going through this huge Quake phase, and it just sort of like happened all at once that they re-released it. I mean, I am the primary demographic for it, but joke's on y'all, I already owned it all. Unfortunately, I already bought all of the DLC and even went out of my way to like try and figure out the right method for getting the other one. That one's pretty okay. I liked the last map a lot. This is cool. Oh. So I'm just playing with Sausage Chimp, which is cool. Oh, he's smart. You got the lightning gun. Now I forget if the lightning gun is like actually called the lightning gun in canon. Doesn't. I'm not one of those people. I don't know about that. I have Quake Champions. I want to play Quake Champions after this, because this is kind of weird. It feels like, I don't know who's in charge of Quake Champions, but I feel like maybe do you think they got the memo about this? I mean, Quake Champions is still going on. There's a bunch of different ways to, like, Quake Live. Like, what about that? I mean, Quake Live got completely abandoned from what I understand. Even though I think that Quake Live was, like, the most interesting concept so far, because, like, the thing is, Quake Champions is its own thing. It's basically Quake 5. Basically, like... So... You know, it's not a remake of the other Quake games. It plays the most like 3, at least for me. I do like the multiplayer in 3 more than I like the multiplayer in 2 or here in Quake 1. This is fine. This is cool. I like the idea. I like the fact that so many people can play and so many variations of people can play. Because the truth is like, you know, this is kind of fine. I mean, I'm just waiting for this guy to show up so I can, like, zap him with my Gek gun again. I'm gonna need a Gek gun. I'll take the Gek gun. Going in quiet, I see. Going in quiet, I see, JC. Yeah, I'll need the Gek gun. That's a little bit more closer to what Gracie sounds like. I did not know that Deus Ex ran on the Thief, the same engine as Thief. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, freaking clipped me there. The geometry's a little weird when that happens, when that transition happens. Ooh. Bitch, come on. We're gonna disco. Oh god, he's gonna get the Quake. Okay, that all went down to who got the quad damage, though. That was entirely up to who got quad. Sauced chimp accepts shaft. Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait for somebody to be just like, excuse me? This is the kind of bro thing that we wanted to put away in 1996. And I'm like, yeah, that's what this is for. This is for people who want to pretend like it's the 90s. I know what it's like. I mean, hey, what I remember of the 1990s was crazy. But also, a lot of what I remember about the 1990s is like exactly the same. It's just now we have like the internet in front of us all the time. That's actually probably the worst thing about it all. Saucy. I should actually probably apologize, especially because I'm like streaming. Like, I should see if there's a way to turn on streamer mode, because I don't want nobody to like bother anyone about this. So please don't. It's okay. We'll play. We'll get good. Bro, this ain't fun. Oh, no, he knows where I'm at. He's just like, we're not attacking each other right now, I guess. This is about right. Yeah. I'm sorry. That was bad. That was bad. He came right at me. That was like an Obi-Wan moment. He jumped at me right as I hit the quad damage and just like whoosh. No good. No good. The problem is I hit you once. You see, the problem is I hit you like twice and you're dead. Now we're fair. Bringing you up to a respectable frag amount. So then it brings it up. And that's like an air shaft. I mean, there's not really a good way to communicate that. I mean, the other levels have did a pretty good job, but that's kind of cool, I guess. This is a really beautiful level. I love the veranda, like the veranda, like when this opens up like this in some like Serious Sam levels or like Egyptian architecture, where it's like the middle of a you know, in the middle of these Roman like villas, they would have like just like an open segment, just open air. It's like a little park in the middle of your house. Those were nice. Those were nice. I kind of like those in these arena-based shooters, especially in Quake, where sometimes like the outside atmosphere isn't that eerie. Like sometimes it really is. Like when you think about like what this torture chamber, elder, or arena battle thing is. But if you look outside, it's usually actually pretty nice. You know, it's like, oh, it's space, or oh, it's just, you know, weird kind of dirty ground. Sometimes it's a cool graveyard, but what is it? Honey is a really good map that has like some pretty good like Quake atmosphere landscape stuff. That's a pretty good mod that won't work with this. Maybe. Honestly, it would be really, really cool if Bethesda wanted to include support and integrate all those different mods. Hit me up. I know the good ones. So it isn't just whatchamacallit and the other stuff. That was fun. Yeah, it's fun sauce, but I'm done. I appreciate you though. Let's do some other Quake stuff that isn't like that. So this is, excuse all the crap. Let's go ahead and get, yeah, so this was what I was doing earlier, which was the stream with the New Machine Games DLC. It's a new map. So you can run these in Simple Quake Launcher if you have this set up. This is actually my modified version of Simple Quake Launcher. If you find my GitHub, you can find it, or if I need to, I'll link it somewhere. But what is it? There's a bunch of different ways. Like, it's actually the most convenient way for you to like organize all these different files. So this way, you can just extract all of your mods into the main Quake directory, even with the new update. And it'll run really, really well as long as you put Simple Quake Launcher in there. There's a bunch of tutorials out there on how it works. I'm not necessarily going to make a tutorial about that yet, but it's pretty cool. It's how I get all of this stuff separated, because sometimes you can just use it to immediately enter in like Jam 9, and then you can pick exactly which map you want to go in for. But, you know, been pretty happy with those. The only thing I can think of is, I guess we could go and let's try out some FTE Quake. And we can go with not Jam 9, but we'll go with default. So this is pretty much the nicest looking Quake one that I can muster and make, or I can compile. I really like the, oof, this is not one of my favorite screens. Okay. So this is actually my preferred way. And FTE Quake is pretty awesome pretty interesting source port that uses, I think, Quake 3 engines, or Quake 3 technology, it seems. Because a lot of this stuff feels very Quake 3, and it does feel a little Return to Castle Wolfenstein, if you're familiar with that generation, like really early 2000s. Quake 3 idTech 5 engine. But FTE Quake also runs like Quake World and stuff. It's pretty versatile. Like we could actually join a server, I think, right now. It's like this is the other way of playing Quake multiplayer. It's a little bit harder. It's like the people, if they are real people, which sometimes they are very, very talented. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull up anybody. Maybe nobody's on this particular fork of FTE Quake. I might be behind. Also, the new source port just dropped, so I don't know. Let's go, and honestly, the ironic thing is we can probably display that audio. So this current audio, we can probably do fine. Okay. A little bit dark. This is unfortunately one of those ones where you have all the options. So that's a little bit nicer on the eye. Now we don't really need background stuff. So it is kind of interesting to see how the wider FOV kind of works, because the widest FOV that you can get in the new Quake re-release is 125. The default is 95, which I think is actually a pretty interesting choice. But there are some like weird things going on. So this is FTE Quake, so it's got actually like shaders and a bunch of other stuff that you can pop on top of it. We can also change it to be, you know, a much more basic version of Quake, really in the drop of a... you just go over into options, go to graphical presets, and then if you go to fast deathmatch, you're back to your normal Quake. Looks fine. It actually kind of helps run on you know, other types of machines or different types of machines. But I always kind of like doing, I like to play around with real-time everything when I can. It's pretty nice. A little intense. I will say it doesn't work like super well with a lot of enemies. But you can basically play, you know, it's great source port. So you see, this is different type of water. It's the brown type of water. Like I was talking about, like the blue water that was happening in the new re-release. I think that's just to denote that it's like safe. But this is a AI upscaled, like super retextured version of Quake. So obviously that portion isn't like, you can't really compare them both graphically, even though the new one runs on Vulkan. This can too. I think that currently I'm just rendering it in OpenGL. Okay, we're having a hang right here. Let's see. I haven't had too many issues with this before. Now this is gonna be the one that's on my re-release directory. Okay, we load it in. That usually doesn't take that long. This is in my re-release directory, so I am a little bit worried that the re-release might have changed some other files that are necessary, but really the only thing that should be necessary is like the pack files. Yeah, that's about it. Like, I don't think you need anything else. I do feel like this is a little bit harder though. I don't think I'm gonna get as far before I give up on this one. But this is the best that I've been able to remaster Quake by finding what technology is out there. This was the easiest one. Quake Spasm Spiked is a really good one as well. But FTE Quake I found to be like, it's pretty easy to set up. It also is on the Delta Touch Android port, and it's graphically the most impressive one on that as well. If your tablet or whatever your phone is that you're playing, as long as it's Android, Delta Touch will work, from my knowledge. A little bit weird with the reflections, but that's can't really be helped with the shader stuff. But an issue that we might have. So an interesting issue that I was having with the re-release was after I changed the graphical settings, like completely had a reset right in this area, I would basically be able to shatter through, and I'll try and recreate that bug, mainly because there might be people watching who worked on this, and if you did, you're awesome. You're super cool. I appreciate the work that you do. Honestly, that sounds like the coolest freaking job ever. Is like, oh yeah, I work on Quake. Like, bro, you work on Quake? That's cool. I start feeling like Joe Rogan, installing like a landline into my house so I can play Quake 2 multiplayer. Which actually is pretty sick. So these models are slightly different from, you know, well, obviously because they were redone as well. But you see there's some different thought put into, you see the swivel of the nail gun. You see in this it has that kind of, it has this like little fulcrum thing moving in the middle. So interesting ideas. Again, completely different models, and this is, you know, completely different forks of different projects. Like outside of the source code that is all 100% like legal for people to interpret and mess around with, as according to like its wishes from, I think, you can look at the id repository, but you can look at the little readme that John Carmack wrote up about, you know, his intentions with the opening of, or the release of the source code. So you can read that. Pretty well thought of. I think that, you know, honestly, John Carmack is a thoughtful person. He's a really thoughtful person, especially now. I do think that that you have to be absolutely insane. Like some of the stuff that they were talking about, like what they did in like John Carmack, like basically spending the last of his money on just this weird desk station laptop or computer top while they're still in Minnesota, and that's basically the machine that they wrote like all of Keen on, a bunch of different stuff with it, and basically started a lot of this process. I mean, obviously what really started this process was just years and years of programming dedication that, you know, these individuals had put together. I mean, John Carmack was before John Romero, excuse me, was like at id, he had already been an international, technically an international video game developer. Like he had already developed stuff that like had been released over in England and had been released here in the United States while he was living across the pond at that point in his life. Really interesting story. Really, really interesting thing, because we think about like just the people, the very, very fascinating people who came together at this very, very weird and interesting point in time with computers, and really had a hand in an insane amount of technology, like extremely wide. Like there's stuff that we've learned that was possible because of Quake that has affected stuff even like in medical fields. Like I don't want to get too much into it, but the technology for like simulation making, 3D modeling, 3D space rendering, like I'm not here to put Carmack on a pedestal, but I kind of am. I'm gonna say that it's just like there's a lot of this stuff has positively affected the world. I want to say the video game stuff, not so much. It's positively entertained people, for sure. But there's like what can be done with the technology that we made just to like make games is quite impressive in a final analysis. Doing pretty good. I usually don't. Somebody's telling me to shut up. I haven't been listening. Anyway, I'm gonna try and wrap this up and then sort of finish it off. Yeah, I have a bunch of Quake related content, and I think that I'll like keep playing some of the new stuff. But right now we're just playing FTE Quake, which is like open source, the open source source port that I kind of like the most. It is not the new Quake re-release, but it is something that I think is graphically ambitious for the Quake engine, especially the first Quake engine. But I don't know, like, again, this is a source port, so technically I mean it might have more to do with how the data in, like, Quake 3 is handled. Just in terms of, like, render space, and like even like the UI elements. I mean, it could just be a more advanced fork of it. I mean, that's what Quake World is. That's what the Gold Source engine is. I don't know. Technology is really, really cool. I would suggest. I just got my C#, the C# coding certificate. So I'm this junior C# developer. Having a blast with it. There's some really awesome stuff you can do with Godot and Trench Broom. Definitely look into that if you are somebody who is interested in boomer shooters. You're interested in. I mean, this part kicked my ass last time, so I think I'm doing a good job of dodging them. But problem is, I don't know how much health I have. Last time. I guess you could say shit. Like, I guess it has more to do with the fact that like these things are repeatable. This is what I'm talking about. Like sometimes it gets too dark in here, but this is mainly a fault of these advanced shaders that just don't. They're just trying to realistically render this hallway, and it just isn't extremely properly well lit. But again, this is E1 and 2. And if you want to get like into the nitty gritty, like the problem is that I'm a very self-conscious person. So like when I was doing some of these edits for, or I really want to make sure like I'm very, very neurotic about like very, very specific things. So like the curvature of a wall, when I design that, I get very, very like, oh, it has to be like exactly how a brick would work and stuff like that. But if you look at these old Quake like maps, there's no bricks that work like that. This is what was okay and passable for id Software when they made it. Like don't freak yourself out trying to redefine the wheel and be like, no, I have to actually build a castle. Because that's the problem is like Minecraft has like conditioned my brain when I'm in those kind of game building worlds. Is like, oh, I have to actually like carve out a little thing. Friend just texted me about a meme about Morrowind. Something I'm also trying to get back into. I brought that back up a little bit. I've been replaying some Morrowind. I think that I can finally like narrativize a video series about that, if that's what I choose to do, I guess. But it's just sort of like hard. Like there's somebody who's already doing a lot of Morrowind VR videos, and I think that person is doing like a really awesome job. Like they have cartoon little cartoon thumbnails and stuff, and like a little Nerevarine with a VR headset on, and that's like super cool. I can't really I just don't really have enough time to like dedicate that much time to it. I mean, especially after I finished up to the software school, thank God, but that's the reason why I had to stop like living Skyrim for a while. That and living Skyrim is a like 200 gigabyte plus like mod project that's always ever growing. And version controlling that crap is like already hard enough as is. I have this like ultra version of Morrowind ready, and right now because it's down on Wabbajack, I guess I'm like just keeping it around in case we have to archive it because it's a fully functioning, fully working one that can be replicated. It's from the Moy's like kind of starter pack, I guess, or the Moy's mod pack. But I have added on top of like my own quality of life alchemy stuff. That being said, like, it is a more involved modding process. Even in stuff like the Quake is actually really, really fun and easy to sort of mod around in. What secret did I forget? I didn't hop down. Yeah, I didn't hop down. I think that's why. This area is always dark, and again, I always suck at this level. Not my favorite level. On hard, super hard. Nightmare. Especially when the shaders make everything extremely freaking dark. Isn't it beautiful though? It looks like a real dark room. Yeah, it's because like Fulbright was pretty much on. They didn't have any like shading light elements. They expected gamma to be like 1 on your monitor or whatever was like baked into it. I do want to say that it is kind of funny that there are people on there who are like, have you seen the low-end specs? Like, people were saying like that the specs for the new Quake re-release were like, oh, this is like so low. Like, you gotta understand this. Like, when Quake came out, it was already a low-spec game, and I'm like, I don't think for everyone. It seems like most people did not have the highest-end PCs back in 1996. Like, a very, very select market. And again, those were people particularly already like very, very involved in the PC or at least computer science world. It seemed to be a much closer little club back then. So much so that, you know, John Romero was going out with dates with whoever won the Quake Con. I shouldn't talk about that. I mean, that's in the book thing. I think that person is still works in some industry. The last I had heard about American McGee, he was working in a mobile phone sort of thing, but apparently he's on Twitter now and he's all about like this awesome pirate life, and it actually sounds pretty cool. American McGee is like probably one of the coolest people you could meet. I want to say he's definitely one of the most interesting people. It's really weird how video games ended up turning these like weird personas. I mean, that's what that entire stupid I don't want to say stupid, it's a great book. That's what Masters of Doom is all really kind of about. It's like taking these like kind of socially outcast or socially awkward. I don't know if I'm going to beat the Shambler on Nightmare. I don't think I'm going to beat the Shambler on Nightmare. But these otherwise notably archetyped as socially awkward, but you know, these socially awkward kind of roles in software development, in technology development, and computer science, and then turning like weird like rock stars out of them. Very, very interesting concept. But that's like what that entire Masters of Doom book is about, which I highly recommend. I recommend staying past where I got the last time I was taking a good chunk of that book together. I always get like sidetracked in the Quake chapters and restart at like I always stop for like 2 weeks when I read that part, and then I either pick up a chapter too late or a chapter before or something like that, and whatever it is, I'm always a little bit confused about that period of time. Only because, like, for a while, everybody's, like, you know, this super big Doom kitty, you know, but, so, like, Quake, development of Quake 2, like, post-Romero, like, what is id Software at that point? Interesting history, different sort of, like, change-up in sort of the structure. I think that it is a really cool company. Such a freaking cool company, especially now because it's so it's dynamic. Over the course of like 30 plus years, it's dynamically changed so much, but it seems like it's a company that the positive elements have been there, and they've been kept alive through games and through an appreciation for technology and games. Though I do think that, you know, modern day, it is definitely on the fun side of things, which I really can kind of appreciate. It's, I mean, like, most of the marketing about this Quake re-release, which I'm probably going to get back to, I guess. I'm pretty much done here. The Quake re-release is that id Software is embracing like the old school shooters that, you know, everyone's buying. Like, everyone's buying these, you know, mainly because they're a lot easier to make, but the quality of indie games is just so high right now. Like, even free mod packs. Like, I'm about to play, let's play a little bit of Slayer Testament. Like, the quality of Slayer's Testament, while unfortunately the mod pack that I have kind of breaks the UI, I don't super mind. Slayer's Testament does work with FTE Quake really, really well as well. But you always have to kind of like go through this. You can go and check it. Go to the timer, FOV. And we can go ahead and close it. But now the problem is just sometimes the lighting is a little too dramatic. But this is a free mod for Quake 1, an open source game. You don't even really need to own Quake 1 to play it. And it just straight up is Doom Eternal. In fact, maybe I'm just going to go ahead and... Graphical presets, faithful. There we go. Now you can see everything. Uh-oh. Sorry. Okay. We did it. Save the day. Doesn't look like we can reset those skyboxes. Very nice. But yeah, it just works. It works exactly the same. It's crazy. Now the problem is that the UI on this version, because I installed like the all the 4K textures, including a UI retexture, so it changes the UI. It unfortunately overwrote the UI that's in the Slayer's Testament mod. So I don't even think this is really worth it. Field of view, view size. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so like Slayer's Testament has like really cool UI elements right here. But unfortunately, because I got those high quality Quake assets, it's using those on top of it. So the replacers that would otherwise be there are just being overwritten. So they end up not looking so good. So I've actually been playing with them off. Yeah, that's fine. It is a little bit harder. I think I showed this off last time. But Slayer's Testament campaign, you can go through like quite a bit of it. Now especially because we got the audio going, so.
They are rage, brutal, without mercy. But you will be worse. Rip and tear until it is done.
Nice. We can take the helmet, just like in Doom 2016. Little thing. Oh, here we go.
I'm Dr. Samuel Hayden. I'm the head of this facility.
Classic. Oh yeah, it actually has the UI element. That's very cool. Oh, and that's actually is the shotgun UI element too. That's very good. I mean, it's a more spatially, it's very, very identical to Doom Eternal, but I do think that Doom Eternal has the ability, because it's a more advanced engine, the way it's rendering these maps, it's a little bit, there's some design choices that had to be made to fit however they developed this. I think it's in Trench Broom, I really do think, but some extra stuff added on top, of course, because, you know, this ledge hop mechanic, definitely not a Quake original there. And I think I can just... Yeah, now we got a little bit of music going on. That's kind of lucky. So... But honestly, like, something like this, I mean, what's... Between this and Ultra Kill, like, so many people want stuff like this right now. Might be changing soon enough with tastes. But free content like this is just insane. Now, they obviously did rip a lot of the assets, which is very, very interesting. I think they did a really good job with these weapons. Obviously, they have Samuel Hayden's voice. By Bloodshot. I think Bloodshot did quite a lot of these maps. From what I remembered from the last time I played it. Well, the easy secret. Ah. I might have to get the Switch port, because I really like... I mean, one of my favorite ports is just straight up the Android port. And honestly, the reason I have that Android tablet hooked up the way it was is because I kind of wanted a Switch that wasn't a Switch. But if that thing goes on sale, kind of like how Stripe is on sale on like the Switch store for like $10 all the time, and that actually seems like a pretty good version of the game to get if you're gonna buy Stripe. I have the Steam, you know, enhanced edition of Stripe, also a Night Dive thing. But yeah, this is all done with stuff from the Quake engine. I should probably head back over and do some of the Quake re-release, because like the title is still called that. I don't really think I have enough viewers for anyone to really care. Yeah, for the most part this has been like super fun. It's been pretty chill. It's good to sort of stream for a little bit, especially now that I've got my little technical certificate looking for jobs. Than anything else right there. Like the world's slowest nail gun. That's what it feels like. Luckily, it's pretty easy to aggro those guys. Okay. I need a single hit in the last little bit. God damn it, I didn't get it. Nope. Hey everybody, sorry I forgot that key card. Let's see, why did I forget that key card? Oh, because it's here and you have to shoot it. I forgot. Oh. There went my frag grenade. No more. Did not like that. Okay, got 4 shots. Now we're getting active. Add it there. So now we've got the super cool grenade attachment. Works just like a Doom Eternal, or Doom, yeah, Doom Eternal and Doom 2016. Oh, nope. Too little ammo. The only other thing that I can think of that's almost as good as this is Embers of Armageddon, which is a mod for Doom, the original Doom and Doom 2, which adds all the equipment from Doom 2016. And there are some reskins for Doom Eternal. They haven't perfected all of the reskins, though. I noticed that the plasma guns weapon mods in Embers of Armageddon, the attachments are not updated to the Doom Eternal skin, so if you attach certain attachments, it'll switch over to the old plasma gun skin from Doom 2016. So all of a sudden it's just you're holding a different gun for like half of a second. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's all just about playing the game, and really that only comes up if you've unlocked all the additional stuff for that gun, which if you play that much Doom 2, you probably... Because it's really awesome. It adds it to all the levels. Like, it adds, like, the weapon mod kits, and it adds the compasses and everything to all the levels. So it's just like Doom 2016. and Doom Eternal. So it's really a great mod. But it also adds it to like Sigil, and it adds it to a bunch of even Plutonia. It's very, very cool. My thing is, I don't think that the secret in Doom 2016 is like this, but I think that there's a secret in Doom Eternal that's like this secret. So I think that the Doom 2016 secret is just a message that's there, if I remember correctly. Kind of forced to get the Argent Core. I mean, if I had gotten another thing, I could have just waited and came back. But I don't think you can get another gun. Oh. Nope, definitely shoots harder. No chainsaw yet. I should come in level 3, because the inside of like the first Martian factory thing that you go to, the first Martian depot that you go to has like a bunch of those. Oop. Yeah, I don't got much else to talk about. Quake is cool. Yeah, the new mod packs work pretty well as well. They've got this interesting thing. Okay, now we finally have it. I don't know if it works in this map mode where it lets you pick up extra ammo. Okay, we got it. Yeah, it does drop extra ammo. Oh, I could have actually gone back. Yeah. So next time I do this, I'll definitely just like skip over that Argent Power Saw and get micro missiles sooner. But if I'm correct, shouldn't matter that much of a difference, or make that much of a difference. God, there's so much ammo for this thing. Didn't even really have to stress out about that. Got this. I've got it. We got it. That's where it comes in clutch, it's just the auto saves. it wasn't for the glory kill system, I would not have made it that far. But that was also because I was being lazy. Didn't even come up here for any of the power-ups. Decided to wait until we got to the next room. Which I think is just the end of the level anyway.
Hello, I am Vega, the sentient intelligence assigned to Mars. After running diagnostics on the facility, it appears the demonic presence through the Mars installation is critical. 61,337 UAC members deceased. 81% of the facility is on lockdown. You will need to begin by finding a way to
That is a much different intro for this level. But I think it's a cool spin on it. Because right now what should have happened is we entered into a mining tunnel and then we like... And mining or like... I don't know, whatever they were moving on the surface. They make it look like they were mining for this stuff, but it's supposed to be... Argent energy is supposed to be like kind of a gas, but also kind of like what souls give off when they're tortured. It's the best way that I can kind of explain it. Classic button. But yeah, this is definitely one of the more inspired by Doom levels than an actual remake or redo of whatever. Which is really what you should expect out of this stuff, because most of the time it's just like an imaginative look. Nice. But I don't know, I feel like this could be sometimes a little bit more comfortable for the average Doom Eternal fan. The average Doom Eternal enjoyer. That was much more of a classic. I think this one is supposed to be like a redo of Hanger. It's got like some of the ideas from Hanger, E1M1 of Doom 1 here. And just sort of that Mars space station Phobos effect type stuff. I still haven't played really any Doom 3 past... I don't even know if I got the shot. I had got the assault rifle. That was fun. Outside of playing more Quake or playing Blood, I think that I'm pretty much done for the evening. Thank you so much for watching that stream. Have a wonderful rest